What's up guys, Down Delivers and Flipper here. This is my 2022 Ford Maverick and welcome to my 100,000 mile review. What's up guys, before we get into the review and all the modifications of the Maverick, it'd be awesome if you guys can go over to my other channel, Res Runner. I'm going to be uploading different kind of content on there, Muay Thai stuff, just kind of day in the life. You guys can see what I do for a living, just a bunch of different kind of stuff. So if you guys can go over there, I'm trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers right now. So if you guys can do that, that'd be freaking awesome. Let's get back to the video. So before we get into the good and the bad, I'm just going to give you guys a quick list of the modifications I have on here. None of them are crazy. We got two aux beam pod lights up here. They're super bright. I usually point them to the side so they get a lot of light up here. And the next thing we have is the actual big light bar. I believe this is 24 inches. Maybe 24 inches. I'm not sure on the size. I'll get it for you guys, but it's really good, super bright. I did have to cut out the actual grill to fit it in there. And if you keep coming, this is not really a modification, but these tires right here, they worked really good for me. They're Les Schwab open range ATs. I never had a problem with them. I tested them in snow, mud, and winter. They are 3-peak winter rated, and they are a little bit pricier tire, but they have been pretty good to me. Les Schwab's been good. I've went in there for flat repairs for other tires like that, and so they work really good. The next mod here is pre-cut tint off Amazon. It works really good. Me and my dad put this in. It's not the highest quality tint in the world, but for a truck like this, you don't need a high quality. You're not driving around a super $100,000 car. Everything on here I like to keep kind of budget friendly. So that's the next thing. That's really nice. And the next thing is my favorite thing in the whole world is the soft topper. I have recommend these to everybody. Works super awesome. I love being able to put it down to put my dirt bikes in. It keeps everything dry in there. It's very versatile and it allows me to put a lot of stuff in there at one time because I can go way higher now and not having to put like a net on anything is super awesome. It stays pretty relatively dry inside. I don't have it fully sealed up, which is a little bit of a problem on my part, but it gets most of the water out, so it's awesome. And the last thing, it's not really a big crazy mod, it's just these lettering. I'll have a link to all these products in the description, but this is really nice. I think it has a little bit of a touch to the Maverick that just not everybody has. So that was a quick list of all the modifications on my Maverick. Let's get into the review. So we're gonna start off with the most obvious problem that I've had with my Maverick, the transmission. So my transmission started to have problems around 85,000 miles. It was something small at first and it started to just get progressively worse and worse. So I put it in the shop and basically I had to get a new transmission. So my Maverick spent around 4 months in the shop, but I know that's really terrible. It is the first production year of the vehicle. I don't think it's gonna happen to every single Maverick, but I think it will happen to a majority of Mavericks. A big problem that is on my part, I didn't change the fluid at all, which is not really good. I should have changed it around like 40,000 miles, but I was going by the instruction manual and it said 120,000. So I was gonna change it at 100 and I thought I was early and I completely take the blame for that, which I don't know if it's completely my fault, but in my eyes, I don't think a transmission should go out at 85,000 miles even without changing the fluid. And a lot of my miles are easy miles, only a little bit of miles that are actually really hard. So that's the first big thing that happened with this truck. But I do got a new transmission and it's running good. It does have a little bit of like a little shudder, which I'm not too sure what it is right now. I'm going to be putting it in the shop again because I do have my full warranty still, so I'm gonna try to get that figured out and I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. So let's get into the cons of the truck. So I've had this truck for a little over 2 years. I've got like 106,000 miles on it. So I'm getting close to the ending of my extended warranty, which is around like 109,000. So I got to get in the shop soon to try to get whatever I can fix that they'll fix under warranty. But we're gonna get into the cons and everything I don't like about it. So the first thing, it being a small truck, not having a lot of ground clearance is a big problem. The exhaust in the back hangs down far, and I do have a lift still in my garage that I've still never put on. I don't know why, don't ask me. I am lazy, I guess. I just have not put it on. I'm gonna try to get it on. I say that every video, but I'm very procrastinator. That's why this videos take so long to get out. Sorry, I apologize. But that's the first thing. It can be solved with some bigger tires and stuff, but then you'll be sacrificing MPG and stuff like that, which really isn't something I would want to compromise. And like I said, the biggest thing with this truck is the transmission blew up. And I take a big part of that blame for that, for not keeping up with the regular maintenance and stuff. But I personally don't think it should have blew up, even with that. And I did put it through some hell, but all the miles on here are mostly easy miles. There's only a few miles on there that are hard. You know, you guys seen them. You guys seen them on the video. Go check out all my videos out. I've off-roaded this thing. I've done a bunch of stuff. Not really any rock crawling because this thing ain't designed for rock crawling with the low clearance and stuff. But that is one thing that is probably the worst thing. 100% the worst thing. So the next thing is just like a little nitpicky thing. It's not really bad. A lot of the old timers like, oh, your windows used to be cranked. I know windows cranked. I have cranked windows in my little red car. And these windows are not as fast as I like they to be. They roll down really slow. And like even people who get in and they've like never seen the truck before, they're like, oh, these windows are kind of slow. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So yeah, these windows are kind of slow, which is not really a bad thing. They still work fine, but I would like to just get a better motor in there. Maybe they're slow because they're going to go out. I have no idea. Maybe I'll talk about that when I take it in the shop. Maybe that's not something that's supposed to happen. But for me, my windows are super slow and I don't really like it too much. The next thing it's not really a nitpicky thing. The stereo in here, the actual Apple CarPlay and everything, it will freeze a lot. And it is super annoying sometimes, like trying to listen to music, or it'll connect to Apple CarPlay, but the sound will still be coming out of my phone. It's really weird. I'll try to get a video of it because it does happen pretty often. If it does really freeze, all you do is hold the power button and the right skip button for 7 seconds, and then it'll reset the thing. I just do it like a soft reset, and then it'll just turn it off, turn it back on, and it usually works after that. But it does freeze, and it does kind of go slow sometimes. It's not as fast as like the one in my dad's F350. It's still a good stereo. It seems to be fine for what I do. Like it's never a problem to where I'm like, I need to fix this, but I would like to get it fixed if I could, which I know nothing about that. I don't know if there's an update or something. I asked in the dealership if there's an update, and then they said there was not an update or anything that they could do for that. So I don't know what to do about that. If you guys have any advice, drop it in the comments. So going along with the stereo is the speakers. The speakers are not that good in here. You're not going to come in here and be like, man, this thing is bumping. You're going to get in here and be like, man, this thing needs a new setup in here. It's fine for me. I got used to it. I love going in here and bumping and just like screaming songs and whatever. But for some people, I could see that being a bigger problem. Some people care about really good audio and stuff like that. For me, it's never been a super big thing for me. I've my '07 Mustang back home. It doesn't have the best stereo system either, and it's better than that one. And I got aftermarket speakers in there, but it's just old, doesn't have an amp or anything. I do want to get subs in here eventually, but I would probably put them under the back seat. And I don't know if I want to take away that space because I have recovery ropes, I have extra supplies in there, just kind of emergency stuff down there that I really like to keep on me just in case anything happens. So I don't think I would want to make that space go away and put some subs in there just to have music or a little bit more bass, you know. I don't know too much about speakers, so don't quote me when I say these things like are bad or whatever. I just know by what my ear hears, and my ear doesn't like it sometimes, and it's fine. When I did first get the truck, they had a weird rattle though, it was really weird. That was one big thing, that when I first got the truck for the first like drive back, like 8 or 10 hours, it was like rattling. It was like it was a weird little thing, but it ended up going away. So people have commented on my videos saying that speakers need to break in, so I'm guessing it was that. Maybe it was some of the film they left on there and it finally fell off. I'm not sure. Maybe plastic or something. It sounded like plastic in there vibrating. So I didn't want to take everything off. I was just hoping it would go away, and it did go away. So yes, that's awesome. All right, guys. So the next thing is going to be something that can't be helped by this truck. I can't fix it. Is the small truck bed. The small truck bed is kind of nice, but kind of not nice, just because it's hard to fit stuff in there sometimes, because I'm used to my dad's F350. Back home I have a Ram 3500, so I'm used to an 8-foot bed, and 8-foot beds are just so awesome because you can fit literally anything in there. Like, you're never struggling for room, never struggling for space, and that's just one thing that I had to get used to, is just having a small bed and not being able to fit stuff in, like couches or just kind of anything that's bigger. It will fit a good amount. It is a pretty good bed size for how small the truck is. Like I said, everything's for how small the truck is. And I am able to fit 3 dirt bikes in there. It is very tight fit. I mean, very tight fit. I'll throw some video on the screen, but it does fit, and it can ride. I have it running like that. But usually we just hook up our dirt bike trailer and tow that along. So that's been the easiest thing to do. Just hook up to the trailer, 2 seconds. You can just pull the trailer up, load the dirt bikes on. It's way faster. So that is something that the truck can't help, but it's not really too big of a problem. You know what you're getting when you get the truck. And this next one I actually fixed. It's the tires. The old stock tires were terrible. I say change those ASAP. I got these open range ATs from Les Schwab. They're really good. I like them a lot. I never had a problem with them so far. I've had them in mud, snow, some rock, and I really like them. Nothing to complain about them. They're 3-peak winter rated. I've traveled through overpasses, snowy overpasses, through a foot of snow. The truck didn't make it through the foot of snow, but it was trying to go through it, and the tires did grip up. And yeah, I've just been really happy with them. The sidewall and everything is pretty tough, so I haven't had any flats in them. Next thing that we're talking about is the recalls. So I've had a few recalls on here. I'll try to get a picture of all the recalls I had on, but this thing, I believe it's up to date on all of its recalls. When I did put it in the shop for the transmission, I did do all the recalls. I had them do it just while I was in there, so it wasn't just for the transmission, it was for the recalls too. I know there was a recall for the gas tank, the top of the gas tank. I guess it was leaking gas, but they checked on mine. They said they didn't see anything leaking, but they already just they had to go in there and check. And I'm not sure what they did. That's probably not good that I don't know, but I should really look into that. So one thing that also was annoying was there was a little bit of a rattle. I'm not too sure. I think it was the driver's side, kind of by the tire. I didn't know if it was a little piece of plastic flopping around, because it does go in and out. Sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't happen. It hasn't happened in a long time, but it was happening almost all summer. It was really annoying. It was only at a certain like speed maybe or time, but I couldn't pinpoint it, and it was just like a little tiny rattle, and I had no idea what it was. Kind of sounded like metal or like a hard plastic slapping around, but it's gone now, so we don't have to worry about it. It fixed. And even if it didn't fix, just turn the radio up a little bit. But yeah, nothing seems mechanically wrong. And going back to off-roading and stuff like that, I don't have my skid plate in right now because the skid plate screws, there's like a front little spot, a front little plate, and then there's a back plate. And the front little plate, the screws for that, terrible. They're terrible. They broke right away. They did not stay in good, and they ended up like kind of falling out. So I just took them all out. I took my skid plate out, and it's been easier for oil changes, but I don't have that peace of mind to protect my undercarriage, so which is kind of sucks. But I am going to be going to Ford and getting new skid plate bolts, so that'll be really nice to get under there and have all new bolts to put in. So that's one thing, but it's not really nothing crazy. Everything about this truck that I have like wrong with it, nothing really mechanical besides the transmission. Everything's been working good. Like it's plowed through snow, plowed through mud. It's been through a lot already, and it's been traveling a lot. I have a lot of seat time. Yeah, I do have a lot of seat time, so if there's someone to trust, I think you should trust me, because I've been through literally everything. Been to Canada, been to I went down to Louisiana one time. I haven't taken to Florida yet. I might be taking to Florida soon, but I don't think so. But it's been all over the U.S. now. I've traveled in this thing. I've sat in the seat countless hours, and I've lived in here. I've slept in here. I don't know. I've done everything in here. So that's why I really stand by the Maverick, and I think a lot of the problems that my truck has right now, they're going to be solved with the 2024s and even the 2023s. I imagine they're a little better, and the 2024s are better. The only thing is, like, of course, I'm probably one of the people with the most miles on a Maverick. I don't know anybody else with this many miles. I've seen one person on the forums with 100,000 miles, or I think 100,000 miles also, and that's awesome. I think he has a gray one. I'm not too sure, but that's super cool. But yeah, I really stand by this truck. I really like it. I think it's perfect little economy truck, which you could still do a lot of stuff with, you know. The only other mechanical thing I have is like I have a cracked windshield. That's from a rock like 5 miles into Canada. A big semi came by, threw a big old rock on my windshield, and it was so annoying, and that sucked. It didn't crack for a long time, but then it slowly just started cracking more and more. Now we're going to get into the stuff I really like about my truck after 100,000 miles. So the first thing we're going to start off with is it's super comfortable. Like I said, I've been in this truck countless hours, slept in here. I've done everything in here, and it's really, really comfortable for how small it is. Everything is for how small it is. Of course, if you get a Ram Mega Cab, it's gonna be more comfortable to sleep in. It's gonna be more comfortable to lay back. You have more leg room. The headroom, though, at least in the driver's seat and maybe the back seat, headroom in this little truck compares to like an F-150. It is pretty big, just height wise, not spatial wise. Of course, the F-150 cab's bigger and everything. Yeah, it's super comfortable. I really swear by the interior. I think it's nice. The seats are like kind of like a rough material. I don't know what they are. Kevlar, I don't know, something. I don't know what it is, but they do get dirty, which I do need to clean my seats now. I do need to get seat covers, but I just can't bring myself to pay for them. And I could just keep cleaning my seats. But if anybody wants to send me some seat covers, I'm down to try them out. Let's get them on. I'll do a full video on them. But yeah, I really think the interior is super comfortable. I really like how it looks, like the blue, the little accents of orange. Another big pro is the miles per gallon. So like I said, I travel in this a ton. I have 100,000 miles. I really travel for a living, so I care about MPG a lot, because over that length of time it does save you a lot of money. If I got a regular truck where I'm getting like 17 on the highway, it would be way worse. Before these heavier tires, I was getting easy 28 to 30 miles a gallon. But after these tires, I'm probably getting 25 to 28, 29 miles a gallon, which is still amazing for having a little truck. And that is pretty much fully loaded. I've had it with 4 people and a loaded truck. It does go down a little bit, but not too much, not very noticeable. And if you have that many people in there, everybody's paying for gas, everybody's chipping in a little bit, so it's nice. But yeah, the new tires did make the MPG go down a little bit, which is not too bad. I live with it for the performance of the tire, which the performance is pretty good. The next thing I really like about the truck is that it's just perfect for me right now. Like this stage in my life where I'm making decent money right now. YouTube has been helping me a lot. The more you guys watch the videos, the more you guys support, it really does help me financially, because I don't have a job right now. Our job is seasonal. I'm a cultural monitor, and I'm also professional powwow dancer, which I travel around all summer, and that's usually how I make my money, pay my bills. So I have to perform and do stuff like that. So YouTube's been really helping me with that. This truck has really helped me. Really good for me traveling by myself most of the time, and if I'm not traveling by myself, I'm mostly just with my girlfriend or maybe one other person. We pick someone up, and the bed space has been perfect, especially with the soft topper now. I can protect everything, which I'm telling you guys, go get a soft topper. I love soft topper so much. I really do love it. Yeah, like I said, usually not that many people in here, so it's not really been a problem. Having a bigger truck would be nice, but this thing's perfect. Mile per gallon, saves me money. It's a pretty affordable truck for a lot of people like me. I wouldn't been able to finance like a $50,000 truck and then my payment be $1,000 every month. That would just not be realistic for me. And this truck I pay around $470 a month, which is a little high, but like I said, I was just getting into credit and stuff, and I put some money down. I just don't have a lot of credit built up already, so it was hard to get the truck, but we did get it, and I don't regret it one bit. I love this truck. Even with the mechanical problems I had, I still love it. When I'm traveling just by myself, this thing has tons of room. Like if I'm traveling just me, like I have tons of room in the bed, I have tons of room in the back seat. I can have a party in there. So that's super nice. Like, it's more room than I need at this current stage of my life where I don't have kids. I'm not traveling with my girlfriend every single weekend, which I hopefully will be soon. But yeah, I really like the truck. So this is a big perk for me another reason I didn't get the steely wheels. I personally don't like the steely wheels. I know a lot of you guys like the steely wheels. I think this truck looks awesome, especially with the 2 pod light bars up here and then the main one up here. And then these rims look nice. I do want to get aftermarket rims eventually. But these rims they're good. They do need to get polished up a little bit, and the tires make it look nice with a little bit of aggressive sidewall. The tint makes it look nice. I really like the color. It's a really different color. You are seeing a lot more Area 51 Mavericks. That's the color of this. You don't see too many. You see mostly cars, Altimas, F-150s driving around. So this is a really nice change of pace for everybody, and everybody seems to like it a lot. Everywhere I go, I usually get pretty good compliments, and I've actually had a couple of you guys recognize me. I had one guy recognize me traveling through like Montana at a subway. Shout out to that guy. You were cool. And then also the guy who recognized my truck in a snowstorm back in Kansas City. My mom and dad were taking my truck to Kansas City because it was snowing, and they just wanted to drive my truck, and they ended up helping someone get out of the snow. But the guy recognized my truck, and my mom sent me a video. I'm not sure if I still have the video, but I'll throw you on the video. You were cool. And I think actually at the border going up to Canada, the guy recognized me. He was like, "Oh yeah, I thought I recognized you." It was the actual officer letting me into Canada, so that was super cool. He knew about my channel and knew about Daniel Delivers, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been looking at getting a Maverick." So I talked to him for a second, and then he let me into Canada. That I went to go to Pella. So yeah, all three of you guys who recognized me out crazy places out of nowhere, shout out to you. So yeah, I just really like the way it looks. The looks is a big thing for me. It's just a very solid looking truck, you know. I know people like, oh, it's not a real truck, but to me it's a real truck. It does truck stuff. It does more truck stuff than a lot of people's big trucks. Like there's a lot of people driving around trucks who aren't even using the truck to do anything. They're just driving to Safe Mart, or they're driving to Holiday Inn or Holiday Express to go get groceries and then fill up the back, and that's all they do. Maybe go out once a week. I'm constantly traveling through bad weather, constantly traveling through all kinds of places, and it's held up to everything so far. And going back to bad weather, the all-wheel drive system works awesome in here. I'm not going to talk much about this because I already talked about the off-roading and everything, but the all-wheel drive system works good. It really tries to find where the traction needs to be and where the power needs to go to. Yeah, so that's one thing I really like about it. It's been good. No problems with it so far. We'll see. It's the first production year of this vehicle, so who really knows? And the reason I say that the all-wheel drive system is good, and like the truck's just a solid truck besides the transmission, which that's a big thing, blah blah blah. I'll go back to it over and over, but I've tested this truck. I've been through a lot. I've done a lot. It's got me through the ground clearance is the one thing that's really held me back from going to some other places, but yeah, I've tested this truck. Another big thing that I love is the interior of this truck. So the interior isn't designed just for flashy looks, just isn't designed for just to look the best, you know. It's designed for function. Like everything in, like under the seat, you got tons of room, a million plugins in here. The plugins are so awesome. I can have my whole family charging at one time. The cubbies, there's cubbies everywhere to put stuff in. The center console is super deep. All of the little cubbies have like a little plastic cover that goes in them, and you can take them out, clean them, and that's super easy to clean. That truck cleans up in 2 seconds. The carpet has withstood up to this point, and it's been through a lot of mud. I have had floor mats in it for most of its life. Right now it doesn't have floor mats. They're sitting over there. I was gonna clean them, and then I forgot to clean them. I just haven't put them in for a while, but the flooring just still does look nice. Even the driver's side, which gets all the abuse from jumping in and out of the truck with mud and snow, and yeah, it just all held up. The interior, I'll have some b-roll footage coming, but it's just been really solid. Only a few scratches around here and there. The blue is withstood. The dash isn't getting sun faded or anything, and it's just been a really solid interior. A cool little story about this truck. One of my friends, he is actually 6'7", Dallin. His name is Dallin. He hopped in the driver's seat, and he could actually fit in there, and fit in there pretty good. And a lot of trucks, he can't get in there, like a Dodge trucks, he can't fit because his head hits the roof. In the Maverick, if he put his seat all the way back and all the way down, he could actually sit in there and sit perfect. His knees were up by the steering wheel, but he said he could drive like that. He could go like that. He could go on a road trip like that. He's used to being cramped in a lot of spaces, but that's the reason he drives an F-150, is because the Ford roofs are a little higher, I guess. A lot of people have questions about if a 6'3" person can fit in here, or if like a 6 foot or 6'4", 6'5" person. Yes, you can. You can fit in here. You're not going to be the most comfortable. You're going to be more comfortable in like a full size F-150 or something, but this will fit. I know not everybody has the money to pay for a super expensive vehicle like that. Trucks nowadays are really expensive. Traveling in this, it's been a lot of highway. Cruise control works really solid. It just stays a nice even pace, even up hills. It will downshift every once in a while on a hill. That's only if it's super steep and you're going through the mountains. For the most part, it's just super solid. I think you can get better gas mileage just using your foot and not actually using the cruise control, but I just throw in the cruise control because when you're traveling 20 hours a trip, it's very exhausting to keep your foot on the pedal. So the last two pros I'm going to talk about: in the bed you have a little light on the left side of the bed, and you can click the button and it'll turn on anytime if the truck's off or anything. And that bed is super awesome. I do want to put it a little higher if I can, or add another extra bed lighting in there, to reach in there and not having to go inside to turn the light on. The rear view lights are all from Last Fit, like these blinker lights, the rear tail lights and reverse lights and cargo light. Those are all from Last Fit. I'll put a link to those in the description too. Those have been super awesome, super bright. The cargo ones did go out, but they replaced them right away. Yeah, the bed lighting in here is super awesome, but mainly the bottom light that you could turn on anytime is super awesome. I forgot to mention that that little button turns on the bottom light and the cargo light, so it's just super accessible, super easy. And another thing is that there's finally some good mods starting to come out for this, like people adding I don't know, there's different stuff, people lowering them, people adding new switches, new little control panels and stuff. So I'm super excited to see what comes out for this truck. I hope this truck lasts a lot longer with the amount of miles I'm putting on there. It's gonna have 200,000 in no time. I haven't been traveling as much as I have in the past year, so maybe it will slow down a little bit. But yeah, right now I have 106,000. I'll put the odometer on the screen. But yeah, that's really everything that I love and I hate about my truck. Overall, I really think it's a solid truck. The transmission going out, I'm going to go back to mentioning that all the time, because you guys are going to be like, oh, well, it's not a solid truck if the transmission went out. But I got through it. I got my warranty. I got a new transmission and it's still running good. Everything else seems to work just fine. The only thing that is wrong with it right now is that little shutter that I'm not sure what it is. It's like a little bit of a vibration when I take off. It hasn't affected performance at all yet. It drives completely normal. All-wheel drive works perfectly fine. Everything seems to work fine, but it's just scaring me a little bit. So I do have my extended warranty. So I'm going to be putting in the shop, like I said, and hopefully they can figure it out. The next thing I'm going to do in this video is just go through some of the questions you guys had. I put out a community post asking you guys what questions you guys want to see answered. The first one is, do you feel that given the issues you've had with your truck, this truck would be a good purchase down the line in the coming 2 to 3 years, or do you feel like that it's going to take an entire overhaul of the vehicle, the Maverick Gen 2 with a different engine and transmission, for it to get another shot at being reliable? I personally think Ford will figure it out in the next 2 to 3 years and really make this truck bulletproof. Also, it's hard to make it bulletproof for this price point. That's personally what I think. But for me, down the line, I would get another Maverick. I do really like it. I think it's a perfect little truck. I am very happy with my purchase. And I just want to say shout out to all the people who saying I helped them buy a Maverick. I'm sorry the Maverick hasn't been everything that it could be, like being super reliable and stuff like that, but I love it and I hope you guys love it too. So the next question is going to be, if you could go back in time, would your choice of pickup truck change knowing what you know now? Personally, no. Like I said, this truck is perfect for me. It's been almost nothing but good to me, besides the transmission, and I really think it was the perfect truck for me at this time in my life. Maybe if I was a little bit older and I had a family, I would want to get a little bit bigger truck, but I have had car seats in here. I've had this truck maxed out, I've had 5 people in here traveling at one time, and everybody is a little uncomfortable in the back seat. The front 2 people are fine. It's just not as big as a full-size truck, so it's hard to compare to that, which it doesn't share a lot of stuff with the full-size truck. Like, it's better gas mileage, it's smaller, feels more like a car. One awesome thing that I really love about this truck is that it can park anywhere. Like, I've drove 2500s around, I've drove 3500s around, and those things are so annoying to park. You always have to park in the back. I could park anywhere I want on this thing. I drive through San Francisco and park anywhere, parked on the side streets. I could park anywhere in this truck, and that's one thing that I really like, especially because I travel to the city a lot. My girlfriend lives down closer to the city. But no, my choice of truck would not change, even with everything I went through. Another big reason too I love this truck too is that it's really helped me get more into YouTube. Also, just because I know a lot of people want to know everything about it and be that man to show everybody what it's worth. The next one was, what was your maintenance schedule? Did you follow the owner's manual? How often did you change oil? I have a 22 and watched most of your videos. I believe you're the first one on YouTube reviewing and commenting on Mavericks. Ford should give you a new one, as most of the things you spoke were positive. That would be awesome if Ford gave me a new one, like a new 24 Tremor. I would test that thing and give you guys the real feedback on it, because a lot of these other channels, they'll be like, they're a little too mainstream, I think, sometimes. Like, this is just raw footage of what I think about my truck and raw thoughts of what I think about my truck. So I change my oil around every 6,000, 5,000 to like 7,000 miles. It's hit or miss. Just because we travel as much as me, you hit that 6,000, 5,000 to 7,000 miles like that. It's like 2 weeks and you got to change your oil again. It's crazy. Maybe not 2 weeks, a little exaggeration, but maybe like 3 weeks, you got to change your oil. It feels like you're changing oil all the time. So I would go over sometimes, or sometimes I'd be at a good place to change it. So I changed it a little bit early. So it was kind of hit and miss, but I did keep regular oil changes all the time. That's the one thing I made sure to do. And for the transmission, I didn't change any of that fluid. I should have. I know I'm a bad guy, but yeah. I change my oil every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. The next one is, how does the engine feel after 100K? Does it feel reliable? Honestly, the engine feels really solid still. I feel like I still get all my power. I still get all of the little peppy go-ness I had when I first got it. It starts up. It still sounds exactly how it sounded when I first got the truck. It's been solid. Besides the transmission going out, I said that a million times and I'm sorry. The engine has been good. I've kept up my oil changes, so that's probably the reason why it lasted past 85,000, right? You want to do that thing where you send some oil in and then you can see what's in the oil at a lab. That'd be cool to do eventually. I'm not sure how much that costs though. And the next thing is, do you think someone who is 6'4" can fit in the car? I already answered that a little bit back in the video, so just go back if you haven't seen that answer, but yes, I do. The next guy is asking about the soft topper. The soft topper, like, I've ranted about this already a bunch, but this thing is awesome. I love it so much. This thing is awesome. I could fold it down for my dirt bikes. I could put it up to keep everything dry. The way it clips onto my truck is I just got Velcro right here. It just comes up and I could put this down. I have stuff back there. Nothing's been stolen out of my truck yet. I do keep some stuff back here that I probably shouldn't keep. And this little window right here is tinted, so it has a little bit of layer protection, and people can't go to the sides unless they know that these all pop off, which I assume most people don't know because nothing's been stolen yet, and maybe everybody's just good people. It is absolutely awesome. I'll show you guys in here. As you guys can see, it just connects through those sides. The sides have zippers right here, and they just roll up, and it just connects right that. Super easy to put on. It's not fully waterproof right now just because I did not waterproof it yet. And so see, like I was showing you guys right here, let's pull this off right here, boom, boom. All right, guys, so that was my full 100,000 mile review on the Maverick. If there's anything that you guys want me to cover or I forgot to cover, go and comment down below. I'm always open to answering any more questions you got about the Maverick. But yeah, this has been 100,000 miles with a 2022 Ford Maverick. Thanks for watching. Dan Delivers out.